Ms. Berry has now been appointed, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we are currently moving towards trial. Your attorney has filed a motion to suppress and dismiss, followed by a reply brief filed by the state, and a hearing was requested in this matter. This is Deputy County Attorney Lauren Fox representing the state. Are you prepared to go forward?
Yes, sir.
Are you prepared to go forward?
No, I am waiting on the HDMI table, but otherwise we are prepared.
All right. Would you like to give any kind of an opening?
I don't, please,
Would you like to give an opening?
if I may, Your Honor. Your Honor, the First Amendment guarantees the right to freedom of speech and prohibits the state from punishing the use of words or language not within the narrowly limited exceptions that have been carved out, namely true threats that incite or defame, fighting words, obscenity. Even in these classes, the line between speech which may be freely spoken and that which may be regulated is finely drawn. In every case where speech is being prescribed, it must not unduly infringe upon the protected freedom. This means that the disorderly conduct statute can only punish unprotected speech that falls within these few limited categories and no more. The First Amendment is a living, breathing thing which needs that breathing room to survive, and the government may only regulate speech within the narrow exceptions. The state in its charging documents are alleging that Mr. Fulton committed the offense of disorderly conduct by allegedly yelling the F word out of the window at officers. The evidence in the record now reflects that Mr. Fulton may not have even been the suspect who yelled the swear word, despite the state's assertion in their answer that it was definitively Mr. Fulton. The conduct being criminalized is pure speech, which is staunchly protected by the First Amendment. We will hear evidence today that indicates someone used the word, Your Honor, pardon, but fuck, spoken into the void of the universe from a private vehicle. This expression is constitutionally protected speech because they are not fighting words, true threats, or incitement. Fighting words are words that are personally abusive epithets which, when addressed to ordinary citizens, are as a matter of common knowledge likely to provoke violent response. So there was no particularized suspicion that a crime had been committed here because there were no fighting words. The missing piece of the puzzle here is that whoever yelled the profanity did not address the expletives towards anyone in particular. It was shouted into the universe. Deputy Helmer was not in close proximity. The car did not pull up alongside the traffic stop or make efforts to direct such speech at him. By these very conditions, the words spoken by someone in the vehicle do not fall within the realm of fighting words. The word was not directed at any one person and was a singular expression. This makes the statute as applied to Mr. Fulton today unconstitutional.
Okay. Call your first witness.
Yes, Judge, the state would like to call Deputy Nick Helmer. And if I may, Judge, I wasn't able to turn on the TV. Is that? I guess your remote right here.
Yep, that's it. Sometimes it turns on that one too. Kind of fun. Deputy Helmer, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you provide in this call speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You can pull that chair over here. So does he need to see the TV? I'm assuming.
Eventually.
Okay. When you need to see the TV, you're welcome to pull the chair. All right, you may begin.
Afternoon, thank you for coming in. Can you state your name for us?
Nick Helmer.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm a deputy for Valley County.
So to be a deputy in Ravalli County, what kind of training do you have to do?
So I was a reserve deputy for 2.5 years prior to becoming full-time. Once I became full-time, I've been full-time for around 2.5 years now. In that time, I've gone to various trainings, numerous trainings, and I've attended the Montana Law Enforcement Academy.
And how long is the Montana Law Enforcement Academy?
It's 3 months, it's 510 hours of training.
And so, to the matter at hand, were you on duty on April 26, 2024?
I was.
And did you encounter the defendant on that day?
I did.
And do you see the person that you encountered in the structure?
I do.
When did you first encounter the defendant?
It was on a traffic stop.
Okay, tell me a little bit about it.
I was on a traffic stop with 3 3 juveniles for a separate offense. While I was looking at their driving documents, the defendant had driven by and yelled. When I heard the F word, and then it was kind of incoherent as they were driving by. As I looked around, they were flipping me off. I ended that traffic stop and initiated a traffic stop with the defendant.
And when you say you heard the F word, was it a distinctly male voice, distinctly female, hard to tell?
It was a male voice.
And just for clarity, where was this traffic stop?
The first traffic stop where I heard it was near O'Reilly's in Hamilton. I initiated a traffic stop with the defendant at Burger King's parking lot.
So downtown Hamilton, is that in Ravalli County?
Yes.
Okay, so just to slow down a little bit, you were on this traffic stop and you saw what kind of vehicle?
It was a red or orange Toyota 4R.
So you were, is this correct that you were looking at the other vehicle, you heard a sound, you turned around and saw that Toyota?
Yeah, I saw the Toyota with their, looked like they had passenger's hand out the window flipping me off.
Perfect. So what was going through your head at this point?
Well, I knew that, I clearly heard, the profanity, especially with the 3 juveniles I was out with. I didn't believe it was okay, so I did end that traffic stop to then go after the more egregious violation.
And was this interaction captured on your body worn camera?
It was.
And have you had a chance to review that footage before today?
I did.
To the best of your knowledge, is it a true and accurate representation?
Yes.
And just also to clarify, were you having any technical difficulties on that day?
My body worn camera or the body mic for my dash cam wasn't operating. It was just, so my dash cam was nothing, it has no audio, but my body camera does.
So what would be the impact for the video we're about to watch?
You only get the one audio source from the body worn camera.
Is it fair to say it would be clearer, easier to hear the defendant's words?
More than likely, yeah. It's this one, the body mic picks up more audio than the camera does.
Judge, the state moves to admit State's Exhibit 1.
Objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
And is this audio and visual?
Yes.
So I'll give you this one back too, that one's expired, but this one's good. Alright, here's a warning for the license plate lights.
So we're gonna go back through this. Deputy Helmer, do you mind pointing out for me, the defendant's vehicle as you see it go by?
Do you want me to stand up for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you're not blocking your view.
So you'll see right in this area here. Right there is where he said it, and then you can see the hand of the passenger flipping me off.
And so just to reiterate, there's a lot of car noise in this video.
Yes.
Were you able to clearly and distinctly hear the defendant yelling
Yes,
the
and
F word?
if you review the video, two of the passengers also snapped their head towards that vehicle when that came out.
So then what happened from this point?
I handed back the driving documents and initiated a traffic stop with the defendant.
And did the defendant make any admissions during the course of the traffic stop?
Yes, he requested a supervisor, so Corporal Mahalik showed up, and he told Corporal Mahalik that he yelled, "Fuck the police."
Your Honor, I would object any further questioning about what occurred after the stop. The suppression is about the stop itself, the initial stop, whether there was cause to stop.
No, you can continue. Overruled.
Let me one moment, Judge, as I pull up the second video. And did you have a chance to review this video prior to today?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, is it a true and accurate representation of the events of the day?
Yes.
Judge, the state moves to admit State's Exhibit 2.
I would again object, given the basis of this hearing is the suppression motion, Your Honor.
Well, we can end it here. They have grounds to make a stop. Do you want to continue or not continue?
Your Honor, they're welcome to continue. I was just noting my objection.
Okay, we can continue.
This officer pulled me over because I said, fuck the police, and I flipped it off. Which is my First Amendment protected.
I have no further questions, Judge.
Ross?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Deputy
Good
Helmer.
afternoon.
How are you doing?
Good, are you?
Good. So I think we've established that you have reviewed the footage and your reports, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you remember the events of the day, you were on shift. What were you doing again immediately prior to your interaction with Mr. Bolton and pursuing him?
I was on a traffic stop.
Do you recall the nature of that traffic stop?
Yeah, it was over, I believe, blue license plate lights.
Okay. And during that stop, do you recall asking for the driver's proof of insurance?
During the traffic stop.
Initial, that you're saying was interrupted by Mr. Bolton, that initial stop you were already on?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And do you recall him handing you expired insurance?
Yes.
Okay. And so to clarify, today you've testified that the swear word was a more egregious violation.
In my opinion, yes. I can always go back and review the NCIC records and go talk to the driver after the fact.
Okay, so again, I just want to clarify, you left a stop where you had not verified that a driver had valid insurance to pursue someone who had said a swear word.
Yes.
Okay. And let's, if you don't mind, Your Honor, I would like to replay State's Exhibit 1.
You have it?
I do, Your Honor.
I think you're gonna have to plug it in over there, cause I
Think this one won't
don't
work?
think that one, you can try it, but I don't think that one's working. Maybe
Well-
talk to IT.
We'll give it a swing. I think it was that way in Burlingham's as well.
Yeah, I don't know what the gig is.
Can we change the source stage to mic 2 somehow?
I don't know, I am not savvy to, my 4-year-old grandson's not here to do it for me, sorry. Whoever wants to try to figure out how to change it to HDM2,
I can give her a go.
probably the youngest one in here, you do it.
Otherwise I can do it, it's just I have to move the power source as well.
I don't know. No.
Just plug it into that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
might be just easier to plug it in over there.
I may be young, I
Jenny,
built
can
out
you
technology, so I'm sorry.
I don't wanna fight.
Do you mind if Jenny sits here?
So you're just replaying their exhibit?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh,
What am I needing to do here?
Just back out of.
And when we play this, can you please indicate to the court where you've indicated that the passenger and the driver of the Mustang diverted their attention?
Yes.
Stated in the report.
it was just the passengers, who wasn't about the driver.
Hey there, Deputy Helmer with the Sheriff's Office. The reason for the stop is the blue license plate lights.
Oh,
Yeah, they have to be white, man. So do you have your license, registration, proof of insurance?
So you can't see that there is a driver or a passenger in the back seat too.
you have a more current insurance? This one expired in October. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Okay. So I'll give you this one back too. That one's expired, but this one's good. Here's your warning for the license plate lights. Okay, drive safe.
Yes, it's dark in the back seat, you can't see it on camera.
Okay. And as law enforcement, how often do you hear swearing?
While I'm on traffic with roadside with a vehicle, very rarely.
Okay, do you cite everyone who swears in your presence?
I do speak to them if they're gonna be swearing in front of children.
Okay, but you didn't cite the Mustang driver for his use of profanity?
No, I did not.
But you would admit then that not all use of swear words is disorderly?
Yes.
Okay. And do you think it would be fair to assume that an average citizen would expect an officer not to abandon his duties and his criminal investigations over something as insignificant as a swear word?
I think it all comes down to circumstantial. I can't say it for every time.
Okay. And do you understand the protections of the First Amendment?
I do.
Okay. And are you aware that fighting words have to constitute a true threat for words to constitute fighting words?
So under the disorderly conduct, it doesn't, I wasn't going under that part of that statute. It was the profane language.
Okay. And so are you aware that profane language is protected speech under the First Amendment?
Yes, no.
Okay. All right, so again, I'll just reiterate that fighting words have to constitute a true threat. So knowing that, do you think that profanity is protected speech?
Again, it's circumstantial.
Okay.
Just objection, Judge, just because there's some, he's already clarified that he wasn't cited under the fighting words statute, it was the obscenity, or the profanity, excuse me.
You can continue.
And would you agree that conduct can constitute speech?
Can you explain that?
Like nonverbal communication?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware that conduct can be protected under the First Amendment as well? If
Yes.
it constitutes speech? Okay. All right. Did at any point you want to fight Kenneth or Ruth because of their words?
No.
Okay. And have you ever experienced as an officer where you've overheard someone say the word fuck and no one has fought them?
And no one has fought them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it pretty unusual that someone over the word fuck would just get into a fight over that?
No. I wouldn't say it's unusual. I've seen it.
Okay. Tell me about that. Tell me about when you've seen that.
Bar fights, stuff like that, yeah. I don't have something definitive to give you off the top of my head.
Okay. And do you think that the F word that you heard was meant to convey any kind of threat of violence against you?
I can't say for certain. Again, traffic stops are one of a dangerous part of my job. Those that just start screaming at me out the window could mean a whole bunch of different things.
Okay. Do you think that there was imminent danger to you with this car passing by?
I don't know at the time of stop.
Okay. Again, I just want to reiterate that you voluntarily chose to end your investigation into a violation of law to pursue someone who used the F word.
Another violation of law, yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions.
Then you can step down, you're free to stay if you'd like, you're still under subpoena, or you can go about your day if you can be released.
I do not need another.
Ms. Berry?
No, Your Honor.
That's okay, Judge.
You can stay, absolutely. For your next witness.
No further witnesses, Judge.
Okay, state dress, and you have replayed the
State's
exhibit. exhibit. Do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Posey. Yes, Judge, I just would like to clarify a few points. Ms. Berry made some points about the fighting words, but just to clear up, that Deputy Helmer made a clear point that he was cited, that Mr. Fulton was cited under the profanity portion of the statute, not the fighting. So making the argument a bit frivolous. Also, she focused quite a bit on his decision to leave the current traffic stop to pursue another one, but that's police discretion, that he can absolutely make the choice based on being on the ground of what is the more pressing matter. And again, there was the mention of imminent danger. None of that is part of the statute. It is just that they knowingly disturb the peace by shouting profanity. And as you saw, those were met here.
Ms. Berry?
Thank you, Your Honor. So the state has correctly assessed that he was cited under the profane use of language. The argument that we've made today and in our motion to dismiss is that that, as applied, is unconstitutional because the words do not rise to the level of fighting words. They are protected First Amendment speech. As to Deputy Helmer's choice to leave the traffic stop, this just speaks to the fact that it was not an obstruction of justice. He chose to voluntarily end his traffic investigation to pursue what he perceived to be another violation of law. So there could not be an obstruction of justice where it was a choice voluntarily made by the officer. Again, Your Honor, I'd like to reiterate that the issue that we've raised today in the motion to dismiss is that this is a First Amendment violation as applied. We're not arguing that the Constitution as a whole is unconstitutional, but as it is applied to this instance, it is unconstitutional because it is attempting to punish protected speech.
You get the last word.
Regarding the motion to dismiss, I would just like to reiterate, I lean on the motions we've already submitted, don't wanna waste the court's time anymore, but State versus Robinson, it was a 2003 case. It was so similar to these facts that the Montana Supreme Court specifically addressed whether or not this disorderly conduct statute was constitutional, and they found that it was in almost identical facts where someone said like fuck the police or fuck you pig as a officer was crossing the street, and it diverted the attention of the people around him, and that was considered constitutional under those facts. And that's all I have to.
Alright. We are currently set for a jury trial on January 17th with a jury confirmation on December 17th. I'll have it in writing before then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Alright. Do you have those exhibits?
They're both videos are on.
Sorry, I didn't see it, okay. And exhibit one.
Yes.